welcome to this week's Facebook Live. Thank you so much to everybody for tuning in. It's great to see you all. I hope you've all been keeping well. And I'm trying to think what's been happening this week. We had some really lovely feedback on last week's episode and the podcast that went out live. So thank you so much for those of you who contributed and participated in the conversation and also sent feedback. It was really nice to get, so I really appreciate that. And I've passed on the kind words that those of you who've sent me messages to Mary, most of them. I have to go back and tell her a few of the other nice ones as well. Today we're going to be dealing with a couple of, I suppose, touchy subjects, as in subjects that some parents would probably, one would hope never have to have, and another, probably both would never have to have, but one is probably more likely than the other, which is good. I'm hoping in the next 2 to 3 weeks that we will have the option up on the Help Me to Parent website to pre-order a signed copy of Parenting in My Pocket Q&A Volume 2, which is coming out in December. So keep an eye on that. We'll post it on our socials so you guys will be able to see it anyway. So that's exciting to get out. I'm also working, and I'm putting it out there as a bit of a kick in the ass to myself, but with a lovely lady called Miriam Norman, who is a logosynthesis master practitioner, someone that I've met a few times, and we work well together. And Miriam is based in Italy, and we are putting together a workbook for teenagers and preteens and parents as well to help them manage their anxiety. So we're really excited to get working on that, and as I say, we complement each other quite well, so that should be a bit of fun. The NFT project is building and going nicely, so if you are on Discord, please head over to Twitter first or Instagram and look at Face Painted Kids, and you'll get a link to our Discord. Come join the chat. There's great chats going on in there, and we are all learning as we go along, and people are engaging, which is really nice. And we're going to be giving away our first NFT, not one of our own ones, but we're giving away an Ava Star, which is quite a well-known project that was started by some people who were there at the very start of NFTs. So we're giving away one of those. It's worth, a fair few $100, euros, pounds, whatever it is that you like yourself. So head on over. You just have to join up, and then you are in the giveaway. And our Face Painted Kids website will be going live, I would hope, within the next few days. So keep an eye on that, and let us know what you think. Right, let's delve into today's questions. Alan, I have a colleague who has 2 small kids, 6 and 3, and was pregnant with the 3rd child. When the little one was born, everything looked normal, but when he was only 5 weeks old, he was diagnosed with cancer. The little angel died 3 weeks later in the hospital. The parents are dealing well under the circumstances because they knew what fate their little boy will have, but the other 2 children aren't dealing well with the situation. The parents are talking to them that he was so sick and that he is now watching from the sky, but they are asking a lot. When will our brother get home, and when can we play with him? Can you give any advice on how to deal with this subject, how to talk to 2 young kids about death, and why their little brother isn't coming back home? And I'll be honest with you, when I got that email, it did hit the heartstrings. Something very similar happened to a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine. So it definitely hit home, and it literally is any parent's worst nightmare, I suppose. And they have to try and manage their own grief through this process, which I can't imagine what it is like to go through, as well as trying to help 2 young kids who may or may not understand the situation. So what I'd say in terms of advice is, 1, look after yourself. So for this lady to go and, if she's given some advice to her colleague, is to get them to go and get some support to deal with this. I'm sure things are crazy and they're all over the place and their heads are in a spin, but please tell them to go and get some support if they need it, when they're ready, to help them process what's going on. That way they'll be maybe in a better position to be able to support the kids. So it sounds like they've done quite a realistic job of advising the younger kids that, look, your brother isn't coming home, and it's okay to say he's died. Because I think we all need to learn that death is a part of everyday life. Now, it's a really horrible thing to have to think about and have to say to your kids, but they will understand. They will be coming across things in the world where people will die, be it grandparents, be it people in books or stories, and they'll be learning about death and stuff like that. So it's okay to say that he's died. And whatever your belief system is, that's the other important point. If you are religious, well, you can talk about the belief system that you have and what happens to people when they pass away. So if you are Catholic, for example, or Christian, you will probably say that your child has gone to heaven and is looking down, and unfortunately we can't see him anymore, but he's with us. And it may not give them solace. They may still ask the questions, but that's okay, because kids live very much in the moment at times, and they can just ask questions that pop into your head. Like, it's the beauty of innocence, that there's no filter in some ways, where it's just, this is what I'm thinking, I want to know the answer to it. And then you might give them an answer, and that might suffice in the moment. So it might be just about reassuring the children that your brother has passed away, he's died, and he won't be coming back, but he loved you guys a lot for the little time that he was here, and we all loved him a lot for the little time that he was here, and he'll always have a special place with us and our heart. And maybe they can draw a picture for him. Maybe they can write a little poem for him. They're 6 and 3, so maybe drawing a picture is probably something nice. And for you guys to, I suppose, for those guys to celebrate his life as best as possible, because I'm sure he did bring joy for the time that he was here. And it's okay he's part of the family. Even though he wasn't here for a very long amount of time, he is part of the family. So it's okay to acknowledge him as part of the family, but just that he's no longer here. The other thing I'd say is go and speak to 6 and 3. So one of them is probably in school, or another, it might be in a play school or kindergarten, is to go and speak to their teachers and the schools. Let them know what's happened, and ask, are there any supports that the children can access or that you can give to help them manage this as best as possible. So the younger one may talk about it and may say it in front of the other kids in the class, or both of them might say it, my brother died. And some teachers might kind of not know how to manage that. And what you don't want is that a teacher gets caught off guard and all of a sudden is going, don't talk about that stuff in class. Because and I'm not saying every teacher would, but some teachers may just be caught off guard and not know what to say. So you explaining, look, this is what we've told them, this is what's happening, and they may or may not bring it up, but we're just asking for support. And there may be extra supports that they can access. I know here in Ireland, the Rainbows program is in a lot of schools where they will help kids with bereavement and support them through that. So I suppose you can look for any supports like that as well, and just reassure them that if it's okay for them to be upset or to be emotional about it. And it might be hard to experience that. None of us want our children to feel hurt or sadness, but I think if you can explore with them that it's okay to be upset or sad or to be frustrated that this has happened, but reassure them that we're all going to be okay. And you may get the odd question now and again going, will I die? Will you die? But they're real questions that you can answer, and you can say, no, not for a long time, because hopefully that will be the reality. And just reassure them, walk them through it, and just know that they may get upset about it. It may happen over and over where they are struggling to manage it, and that's okay for all of you to just do the best that you can. You're not going to be able to just take away that pain if they're experiencing pain. All you can do is just soothe them and be there for them and help them through it. I'm so sorry for your co-workers' sadness, and I wish we could all just take it away. I'm sure you do too, but unfortunately that's just not the way life is. And please pass on all of our condolences. I'm sure everybody here tuning in will pass on their condolences. Hello everybody. Hi Lisa, Maria, good to see you. Jennifer, Kathy, I hope you've all been keeping well. Amanda, lovely to see you. Caitlin, Lisa Maria, good to see you. So you did the Great Northern Run, congratulations, well done. Okay, second question today. My daughter came to us recently to say that a boy that she has known for years was chatting to her on social media, and they were getting on really well. He then started to ask for naked photographs and asking really inappropriate questions. My daughter is 14. She was really upset by this. Myself and my husband decided to say it to the lad's parents, as we've known them for years and we'd like to know if it was one of our kids. I contacted the lad's mum, and she said her son would never have done that, and I'd better have had proof. Luckily, we monitor our daughter's phone, so I was able to send her the message that he sent, and she could see his picture and his name on it. She changed her tune and was extremely apologetic, and said she couldn't believe that he would do that. She was asking for advice on what she should do, but I was too upset and I just said I didn't know. I'm sending you this as you may be able to advise other parents on what to do if they are approached about their child doing something similar. So I suppose what I will say is thank you so much for sending that question in, because a lot of the questions we get asked are for people about themselves, and here we have a question that the person is hoping a lot of people or many people will get benefit from. So first things first, I'm going to say to you is well done. Well done for being a responsible enough parent that you've monitored your children's phone, and that you were able to back up the claims, because that is one of the hardest parts of being a parent when something like this comes up, where one person has to say to another that this has happened and there may be no proof. And with no proof, the other lad could turn around and say, I didn't do any of that. So it's good that you were doing that and keeping your children safe. That's so important. You're keeping your children safe by monitoring their phones. So the other thing I'd say is it's clear you have a good communication open with your children, or with this child in particular, because she felt comfortable enough to come to you and explain to you that something had happened to make her feel uncomfortable, which shows the strength of the relationship that you have. In terms of advice, I think there is a number of things that I would suggest. One, like you, I would suggest every single parent get monitoring software onto their children's phones. Now, some people will say, I don't invade their privacy. I don't have time to be worrying about it. But there are so many options out there that are really, really effective at just highlighting things that you could be worried or concerned about. So the one that I use is bark.us. If you search for them, bark.us. And that works really effectively on our children's phones. And what we have it set to is that we get sent any concerning information I don't want to read my children's messages. I don't want to be invading their privacy. I don't want to be learning about every single thing that they're saying with their friends or not. Because one, I don't have time. Two, it's their business. And three, they're teenagers. They're going to say and do stupid things. Okay. And some of the stuff, as a dad, I don't want to see some of the stupid stuff. So it's that separation between the normal teenage stuff and then the ability to see when something like this could be happening. So legally, if someone under 18 years of age sends naked or inappropriate photographs of themselves or forwards photographs from somebody else, legally, they could be done for distributing child pornography. So it's really, really important to emphasize this with children. So that's one. Somebody could be done for child pornography. Now, the chances of that happening are quite slim, but I do know of cases where it has gone to court, where one kid said, I didn't realize it was that serious. And it did go to court because the other person's parents took it that far. Okay. And they're fully in their right to do that. Okay. Secondly, I would say is to look at the communication that you have with your kids. Let them know that there is monitoring software on there and let them know that it's for their safety. Okay. And let them know that you're not going to be checking all their messages, that you don't want to do that, but that you want to know if there's something that could be worrying to them that they may not feel comfortable coming to you about. And once you have that transparency with your child, the chances are they are more likely to come to you. And if you have a child who may be inclined to ask for inappropriate photographs or make inappropriate suggestions to another child, then they may be less likely to do it if they know that the information is being recorded and sent to you. So they're less likely to do that. Then there is the emotional impact. So the teenage years are where children start to learn about themselves and other people. And if they've got no guidance around what's appropriate online behavior, so what I mean by that is that if you're not sitting down with them and talking about what's appropriate behavior online, well, then what they're going to do is they're going to learn what's appropriate behavior by having conversation with their friends. And this is where the challenge can come in terms of, well, everyone does it. Why are you being a prude? Why are you even worrying about it? Send them the photograph. Everybody does it. And then all of a sudden, an unrealistic expectation is placed on the child to actually do it because they think everybody else is doing it. And that's where your role as a parent, and it's shit, like it's horrible. You don't want to have to do it. But it is your role as a parent to actually step in and go, this is what appropriate behavior is online. And once we send a photograph out on the internet, we lose all control of it. Now, your kids will say to you, well, on certain apps, it disappears and that's it, and I don't have to worry about it. But all it takes is a screenshot. And if someone else takes a screenshot, well, there you go. Or a data leak with the software companies, the app companies, where all those photographs are kept. Or legally, they can be accessed by the authorities if need be. And above all else, do we want our children putting other children in a position where they feel pressurized or feel that they have to send photographs or inappropriate content to other people? I would hate to think that my children were putting other people under that pressure. I would hate to think that my child was asking for that. Then something isn't right. And it's something that we as parents have to be responsible for. And this is what I'm saying. You don't need to worry about anybody else. You don't need to worry about anybody else's family. All you need to do is worry about your own children and look after that. But so many parents don't monitor their children and their activity online. They just hand them the phone, hand them the laptop, with no restrictions on it, so they have no idea that this is happening. And I'm not saying that they're bad parents or that they're, not good enough at their job. I'm just saying it's something that they've just got into a routine of not doing, so it's not become the norm, and therefore once they do it and hand over the phone, they forget, and they just think that, well, I've given them the phone, so I can't say no to them. You absolutely can. You can take the phone off the children. They will be okay. Millions and millions and millions of children across the world have lived and still live today without a phone and survive okay. So please, get monitoring software on your children's phones. That way you can keep them safe and also teach them about what their responsibility is when they are online, and appropriate behavior, and reassure them that they don't have to send anything and not to ask for anything, because one, it's impacting, it can impact on their mental and physical health, but also legally there are issues there as well. And then start the lines of communication with your kids around, this is why we're doing it, this is what we're doing, and if anything pops up, please come and talk to us and we will help you deal with it. And that is all you can do as a parent. We have a number of points here. Great question and a great response to what happened. Social media, nothing but trouble these days. Well, social media is really good. We're here on social media, so there are lots of positives, but it's our job as a parent is to teach our kids to be responsible online. Jennifer, thank you so much, has put the link to Bark there in the chat. Lisa, even if it doesn't go to court, many schools will get involved if photos are being passed around and kids can be suspended or expelled for the same reasons. Absolutely. Kathy, we've started dealing with this kind of thing with my almost 13-year-old daughter, not asking for photos, but a boy incessantly emailing her and insisting on Zoom chats in the middle of the night. Nope, absolutely. Lisa, good call. Zoom is a tricky one. The other thing I'd say, Kathy, and this might be of benefit to everybody, so thank you for bringing it up, is that children, I don't believe children should have access to devices at night time. Now you will get the, I need my alarm, I need it for this, I need it for that. But in this case, at 13, I'm assuming that you guys are going to wake her up. And for others, that, we have a cutoff time in this house for when the phones are out of the bedrooms, and that's that. And we have screen time put on so that they can't be used outside of those hours, so that it gives your child an easy out. So with this other kid, you can say, sorry, I can't chat yet in the middle of the night because I'm not allowed on my device. I've got screen time turned on. And that way it gives them a free out and they can blame you. Because that's the other thing I say to any parent. Tell your kids that if they are feeling uncomfortable, that they can always blame you. That you'll take the blame. Sorry, I can't. My parents would kill me. Sorry, I can't. My parents won't let me. Sorry, I can't. My parents are the worst people in the whole wide world. That gives them the out. Okay? So look at it. Does your child have a device in their bedroom? Because that may put them in a position where they feel pressurized. So if they do, take the device out, take the reasons for the device out. They won't be happy about it. Of course they won't be happy about it, but they'll get used to it. They will get used to it. That's just the way it is. Okay? Amanda, I needed this push to get the monitoring software and to remove electronics at night. I've gotten lax on that. Kathy, she doesn't have her own devices, just a school-issued computer that stays downstairs. So it's messages on a school device make it worse, in my opinion. Absolutely, Kathy. And if I were in your position, I would go to the school, show them these messages that your child is getting, and just say, we want this to stop. We don't want my child to have to open up the school device every morning and see all these emails about going online. Please, can you make it stop? So absolutely, Kathy, it sounds like you're doing it really, really well. And thank you so much for bringing that stuff to this conversation. It's added so much to it. I hope you guys have found this of benefit. I hope you have a lovely week. Please take care of yourselves and those around you. And I will chat to you next week. Take care.